Back stronger than ever. Happy Friday. Congratulations. You made it through the week. That time of year too, boy. That sun start going down a little bit earlier. You feel it. Like, yeah, starting to get dark. It might be time for me to wrap this thing on up and get it on out of here. But not me. I'm already on the same schedule, man. Up at a certain time, out at a certain time, doing this, doing that, doing this, being productive. By the time the day ends, I'm right here with you, chilling. And then afterwards, we'll see. It was a long week though, boy. This whole week feel like one long day. Or like I had to do some moving around, so the boy had to shower real late from the gym. To running around because wasn't no time to get back to the house before running errands. Ran errands, did a little bit of work. Finally got back to the house. It was maybe 30 minutes ago. Had to run, hop in the shower. Didn't get to moisturize, so my skin feeling a little bit neglected. Still got to smell good though, so the deodorant on. Get some cologne. But I don't know, to me it just feel nasty to have cologne on and not have some kind of lotion or something on my skin. Felt like I smell like a rich man's mistress. Just cologne. Ugh. But do it. Crazy story of the day, right? And I'm pulling all these things off memory bank. Not really even story, just experience. And I try to change my voice a little bit just so y'all can hear me, but I'm trying to get accustomed to speaking into a camera lens. But one of my common experiences or regular occurrences that happen to me, right, or something I hear a lot is I'm an asshole, or I'm rude, or I'm mean, which is so far from the truth. It's crazy. But again, I've already broken it down in other videos. Folk don't really try to engage with people, not trying to get to know anybody. You're not trying to connect with people. You just making snap judgments. And then with those snap judgments, your ADHD attention span automatically assumes that that is what it is and you keep moving forward. So if you make a mistake, you're going to keep that mistake going until it trips you up and then it stops you. Like I consider it or compare it to like with women with their cars. Every problem is a little problem, but they don't care. As long as my car cuts on, I'm good. Until all the little problems pile up and now your car not starting up no more. So those snap judgments you making, correct or incorrect, you're not paying any attention to it just because it's not affecting your everyday life until it does. And I never get bothered by it because I know what kind of person I am. I know where my heart is at, where my mindset is at, what kind of decisions I make, the logic behind my decisions, my interests, what I do on my free time, and all of them, all of these things all add up to not match the description people try to tag you with. So I don't too much mind it. But I also understand the logic behind it, or not really the logic, but the reasoning behind it. And the reasoning is I'm not somebody that likes my time wasted, nor do I like to waste other people's time. So I like to get right to it. Hence the podcast, No Cap. No breaks, all gas, no breaks. There's no reason to try to sugarcoat it. You can use your words to express yourself as fully and as comprehensively as possible, but say what you mean to say. Get it out. Don't beat around the bush. Whatever is on your heart, on your head, express yourself. And don't try to acquiesce to other people's insecurities or other people's sensitivities. But remember, I'm a man. Like, everything I do there's a fine line to it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. So I'm not going to acquiesce to your insecurity or to your sensitivities, but at the same time, as a man, I'm not going to disrespect you. But the line is moved now in society where if you don't cater to my feelings, or if you don't kowtow to what I expect of you, now that's disrespect. No, it ain't. And I don't let people try to coerce me into behaving like it is. Nah, it's not disrespect. You being sensitive, I don't have to take into account you being sensitive. And I also don't have to take into account what you're insecure about. We're having a conversation. I'm going to say what I need to say, and I expect you to do the same, as long as it's not disrespectful. And same way I communicate on the podcast is the same way I talk to people in person, which is the same way that I text. And through each medium, it comes across totally different. Like with a podcast, in certain respects, you can vocalize what you're saying so people can pick up on your dialogue and your communication style. When you're talking in person, they get to reply in a more timely manner, and you get to do the dance that is human interaction. And people feel better about themselves when they're being heard or they feel like they're being prioritized. But when you texting, that's completely, and even talking on the phone, that's completely up to the other person's psyche. So when you send a message, the words are just the words. You can try to use the context of what was said before, but there's only going to get you so far. That's only going to get you so far. The rest of it is just the context that you adding. So whether somebody means to be disrespectful, the tone that they're adding, what kind of mindset or temperament that you feel like they might have just based simply on the words, is all situations that is concocted within your own head. So even with people that I've met before, I'm like, I text how I talk. You have no problem with me when we're talking in person. You pick up everything. So when I'm texting you, why do you now take the same phrases in the same conversation style and take offense? And when I realized it wasn't a me problem, but a you problem, I got more comfortable with it. Like, nah, I'm not going to over communicate. You're either going to meet me where I'm at, or I'm just going to dismiss how you feel strictly because I'm just being me. I'm being very straightforward, being honest, being communicative, though, not being disrespectful, not being outlandish, and I'm not even being attention seeking. So the line being drawn at not being disrespectful, but not catering my conversation. I'm collaborative with anybody who's ever studied business. You know, you got the negotiating styles. I'm collaborative, but I'm not accommodating. Or LL Cool J said it best, I'm a good guy, but I'm not a nice guy. And that works. Honestly, we all should try to be or strive to be good guys, because do what's best for yourself and be considerate of others, but don't change yourself for others. But don't let other people manipulate you. Simple as that. But I made only like one small change to my personality or to my mannerisms that took me from being someone who was considered extroverted and fun to someone who's considered an asshole. And the only change that I made was I stopped using euphemisms. The little only change, I'm gonna say exactly what I mean to be saying instead of trying to replace this term to be politically correct. And with the topic of the day, right, being the route to authenticity or the road to authenticity, really just being genuine. Because again, with being a more feminist society, you're more focused on how somebody is going to react to something instead of communicating. There's more fear of backlash than there is of miscommunication. So I'd rather you misunderstand or misinterpret what I'm trying to tell you than have to deal with whatever negative emotions or negative response I'm going to get back in return. And crazy thing is, the folk who you usually catering to, they overplay the effect of the communication, and their reaction is more traumatic than the communication that they're receiving to begin with, if that makes sense. Like, you tell somebody a hard truth, as folk consider it. To them, it feels like a slap in the face, but their response in return is shoot a machine gun. It's not even. It's not balanced at all, because they've taken something and exponentially exploded it to another degree. And the crazy thing about that is you start getting terms that come from miscommunication and everyone being expecting to be accommodating other people's feelings more so than the truth. And one of the terms is gaslighting. I can easily manipulate the truth when we're not openly always dealing with the truth. Like, if we have a conversation about what it is and what it ain't, and there's a mutual understanding of what it is, it's then hard for me to try to like double back and try to recreate the situation. But if we've been speaking passive aggressively this whole time and beating around the bush, everything's open for interpretation. We don't need to be interpreting anything, because if you have to interpret it, that means it's room for misinterpretation. Nah, when you're dealing with the truth, there's only the truth. And I don't even like to say the term hard truth, because there's no such thing as the hard truth. There's only the truth and your sensitivity to it. Simple as that. It's what it is and how you feel about what it is. And the more you deal with reality of life, again, you want to be optimistic. You can only be optimistic if you start by being realistic. You can only truly be optimistic if you're realistic first. You can be pessimistic all you want. You don't even have to deal with the truth to be pessimistic. The true feeling of pessimism is just to be negative. To be truly optimistic, you have to have some kind of fact or foundation to build off of. Because to be hopeful, you have to have like an idea in mind of what it looks like to be hopeful. To be negative, you don't have to have an idea in mind at all. You just got to feel bad. Feeling good doesn't make you optimistic. You just feel good. One requires a more concrete structure. The other one is just chaos. And again, human psyche is real simple, and sociology is simple, and human interaction is simple. All of it is going to lend itself to one another. If you feeling pessimistic, you're going to feel chaotic. when you're optimistic, so on and so forth. But the route to authenticity, right, is got to start. I'm trying not to curse too often because it's not the kind of individual I am, and it's not the kind of conversation I like to uphold. But every now and then I'll sprinkle some in there just for exclamation. But authenticity is dying for real. You ain't got to keep it real no more because nobody cares about what's real. Only thing they care about is fantasy. The more you lean into social media, the farther you get away from reality because what's on your phone does not match what's in front of your face. And everybody who uses social media understands that, which is why the accommodation is expected. You understand that what I see every day on my phone is not what I see every day in life, and I don't feel good about that. So I expect you to show me grace or show me empathy or sympathy until the two match. Because for the folk who life is good, you can keep it as real as you want. It's not going to faze me. If you have an optimistic outlook on life, or if you have a quality of life that you appreciate and you hold dear, truth doesn't affect you. You don't have any insecurity about what's going on in your space or in your environment. There's no sensitivity about what's going on in your space or in your environment. But when you're self-conscious, when you're not fulfilled, you're not happy, it bleeds out and symptoms start to pop up and they show themselves. And selfish to push that on the other people and expect them to be the bridge for you to walk over to find your happiness. You can't use other people as your stepping stone to find happiness when as cheesy as it sounds and as cliche as it sounds, happiness is within. Again, everything starts with self-awareness. You know who you are, you know what you stand for, you know where you come from, you know what you're moving towards. You see the world differently. Because if you understand what happened to you, you understand why you act how you act presently. If you understand what you're trying to get to, you then can build the road from where you are now to where you're going. That's why human interaction is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. You understand what somebody is coming from, where they're coming from, and what they're coming from. And you understand where they're headed towards, what they're headed towards, and why they're headed towards that. Then you understand that person. It's easy for me to understand who you are if I understand where you came from and where you're going. But when you're rushing, again, you're not worried about the truth and you're not worried about getting the full picture. You just focus on the snapshot. Boom, I met you where you at. And for a lot of folk, they don't do the full spectrum view. They don't get the panoramic view of the individual. They get the snapshot. They get the selfie of it. Not even the selfie. The selfie is pretty much like, talking in camera terms, the selfie is somebody meeting you where you at, while you're there, and basically using you as an experience. They get a quick picture of you. At most, and this is the most common thing, people figure they meet you where you are right now, the person that you are in this instance, and at most, they'll ask you, all right, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So who are you today? Who do you want to be in a year? Or at most, who do you want to be in 5 years? And then they'll use that short time frame as the representation of who you are in totality. Life is long as hell. Life is long as hell. If you were to try to judge people by who they are in 5 year fragments, Somebody who lives to be 70 years old would be like 13 different people. At a minimum 10. Every 5 years, you are not the same person. So for you to make a snap judgment on who somebody is now, this cutoff date of who they'll be then, you really don't know shit about them. Pardon my language. There's no way to understand who somebody is if you don't understand their circumstances and understand their outlook for their objectives. You have to understand the full view. Got to get the bigger picture. But that will require you to slow down, sit down, and be real, be authentic. You don't get to know people by trying to pity pat around it. And folks get it because, again, thing about passive aggressive is you're indirect and then you're overly direct. And then you're indirect again. Or you try to like manipulate and sneak your way indirectly into what you're looking for. Like, let's keep having sex until eventually we get pregnant or you just don't go nowhere. Like, that's the kind of mindset folk have when it comes to getting to know folk. I don't want to be alone, but instead of saying I don't want to be alone, hey, how about you come do this with me? And I'm going to keep asking you over and over again. And folk take the same approach. And that's a dramatic example, but folk take the same approach to trying to get to know people. Man, all right, so what kind of person are you? I'm somebody that I do whatever, whenever. It don't even matter. In order for me to get what I want, I do whatever I need to do. Instead of that being seen as like chaotic and undisciplined, because it's undisciplined, folk will be like, oh, so you a hustler. You a go-getter. Use of euphemisms. Man, shit. I had to get it how I live. I know what I was doing was wrong, but I was doing it anyway. Shit. Ain't nobody teach me different. I knew different, but everybody around me was doing it, so I did what product of my environment. Product of my environment. It's another euphemism, because the real word for that is you're a follower. You were scared. You were dependent. Uncreative, unimaginative. Like, there's so many different words for it, but the route to authenticity is you got to communicate and you have to be honest in your communication, right? You got to be honest in your teaching. You got to be honest in your learning. You want to learn how to garden, you got to learn how to garden. What kind of soil do I need? What kind of seeds do I need? When do I plant them? How often do I water it? Do I have to add any nutrients? You need like cold, hard facts and instructions. You can't be dealing with like the indirectness. Like, man, shoot, garden is easy to maintain. As long as you got the effort, you got it. You know what it takes to grow plants. Plants all come from seeds. As long as you have seeds, you have a garden. How indirect that is? Like, oh, as long as I have seeds, I got fucking seeds. Like, what's next after that? How do I even go about that? What are the steps? Be real. Or like another crazy ideology is, right, I'm looking for my soulmate. You don't understand how our soul works. None of us know how our soul works. We didn't get the instructions for that. So you don't even know if somebody's your soulmate or not. They could just be somebody you got a lot in common with. Or they could just have a lot of this hormone that you're attracted to. So you don't know if your connection is spiritual or whether it's just physical or whether it's just psychological. You don't know, but doesn't really matter. The euphemism makes me feel good. But I wanted to, because I know to be honest, a lot of people don't know what the word euphemism means. I went over education already. 70% of y'all can't read, so you don't understand the structure of the English language. You don't understand the ideas that make up the English language. You would ask somebody what idiom is, they would tell you it's somebody that tries to put their finger in the wall socket. Only reason you know metaphor is because you listen to rap music. Most folk don't know the difference between a simile or a metaphor. A conjunction. These folk didn't grow up with they didn't grow up learning that. And they definitely not using it or actively thinking about it after school. Oh, got to find something real quick. Hold up. How many of y'all remember this? You see the time on that 1973. Once the DVD player was invented, they stopped showing that in schools. So I'm certain none of the kids have graduated high school within like the last, I'm gonna say the last 10 years. They didn't grow up with that. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? They don't know what that is. So they don't know what these terms mean. So I'm going to be the one to break it down for you. Out. And I'm gonna make sure it makes sense to you as well. Turn me up, Turbo. Breaking it down and breaking it down in the most simplest of terms, right? Can you see it? I see it. Hold up, let me check. Might have to change the light a little bit. I'm gonna have to check it on my cellular just to make sure that thing looking how it's looking. Ah, yeah, we good. I bet. So a euphemism is a mild or mild, meaning like more subdued, less offensive, passive, politically correct, or indirect word or expression, word or a phrase, either or, substituted for one considered to be too harsh or too blunt. So we're going to take a word that's less offensive and might not have the same meaning and use that to replace the word that says exactly what you mean, but could be considered a little too harsh. Some examples of that, right? For anybody that's ever been on the internet, you recognize the double C compared to the CK in thick. THICK, that means I'm curvy. My butt and my thighs are larger than a normal woman's. My breasts might be bigger than the normal woman's. I am more curvaceous than the average woman. That's THICK. THICC is a euphemism, meaning I want you to read thick like the other thick, but I'm going to spell it differently because I'm passively aggressively letting you know that it's not the same as the other word. So THICC thick means I'm fat or overweight. I am larger than I should be at my size to be considered healthy. Another word, woke. When somebody says they're woke, it doesn't literally mean they're awake. It means that I am more informed than the average person who gets their information from media sources. To be woke means that the information that I'm being fed is not from the same source that you're getting fed information from. I'm doing independent research to understand the truth and the logic behind a specific event, situation, or idea. So I am a self-thinker. I've researched for myself, so I think for myself. So to be woke means that I'm simply not, the saying that they use, like you're sheep, just blindly following what you're told or what you hear. To be woke means I'm just not a sheep. I'm thinking for myself, acting for myself. On to the next one. This one is a little more offensive, but honest nonetheless. Somebody says that they're a smoker. At this day and age, it doesn't mean that I smoke cigarettes or Black and Milds anymore. Now you have to by name say that I'm a cigarette smoker or I smoke blacks. Smoker now is the same as stoner, weed head, gardener now, they saying. Makes no fucking sense because they're not growing anything, but it's a plant, so gardener, right? All of that just means addict. I have an addiction to THC. I'm not addicted to weed because weed in itself is just a plant. I'm addicted to the chemical in weed and I've ingested it. And now my body has taken a liking to this chemical. I'm having it on a schedule. Now my body has been reprogrammed to intake this chemical and it's adjusted accordingly. So now I'm becoming dependent on it. And once I become dependent, if I do not have said chemical in my body with the regularity that I'm now accustomed to, I'm going to lash out. I am an addict. That is a substance abuse symptom. And here are other symptoms, because this is a conversation for another day as well. Can't eat unless I smoke. Low emotional intelligence. Low brain usage. Common symptom of folks who smoke is they don't have too many original ideas. Once you get high, they don't think of new shit. They think of things they need to do, get high, and then go do those things. It's rarely the other way around. Dehydration, because you're intaking smoke, you can almost never hydrate yourself enough because your lungs are dried out. It's like taking raisins and then trying to rehydrate a raisin. It's already dried out. You're not going to turn it back into a grape. You're drying your lungs out. You're drying your throat out. You're drying your mouth out. You're not going to continue to dry it out and hydrate it at the same time. Not going to happen. Blackening of lips. That means the healthy cells, skin cells, are dying. The nerves are shot, dying. So now breath stinks because of dehydration. Teeth start yellowing because of the smoke. All of these are red flags from your body that you need to stop. But you know what speaks louder than the red flags your body tells you to stop? It's the brain activity that tells you, hey man, I'm addicted to this and we don't have it, so I don't know what to do. That's withdrawals and all that. But smoker, addict. To stand for somebody means like, regardless of what's said, what's shown, what's disproven or what's proven, I'm going to support this person this through thick and thin, unconditionally. Unconditional is typically attached to like love, and you know, love is emotional. So to be a stand for something means I'm emotional about it. And when emotions are high, logic is low. So if somebody's standing for something, there's no conversation to be had to like talk them down off the cliff or to convince them otherwise. If I tell you that cake is the best dessert that's ever been created, it doesn't matter if you bring me the greatest cookie that has ever been baked. I'm still going to want this cake. Girl's Girl. Here's one that's popular. And if you haven't noticed right by now, like social media is like a highway for euphemisms. Because social media is passive aggressive. Not going to tell you the whole truth. The reality of life does not make it to social media. You only get the hyper positive or the uber negative. You don't get the mundane or the everyday activities of life. You don't get the normalcy, which is, considered boring. I need to see something so outrageous, either one way or the other, that it keeps me on my phone. And out of these situations, euphemisms are born every day. And typically they're driven by women, to women, for women, about women, around women. Or kids. Women or kids are big in euphemisms. And one of the popular ones is Girl's Girl. When you think about it, it makes no fucking sense, honestly. What is a girl's girl? Like, if you were to think about it, we've always heard a man's man, but a man's man means like you're an alpha, you're the cream of the crop. You exhibit every positive behavior or characteristic that men aspire to. That makes you a man's man. You are like the creme de la creme of masculinity. That's not what a girl's girl means, surprisingly, or not surprisingly. I've asked multiple women, like, what is a girl's girl? Like, and basically it just means I'm supportive of women, or what I've been told is I just support all women. I'm like, are you supporting as in like You trying to help them improve? Just nah, whatever you doing or whatever you saying, I'm gonna cheer you on. So it's not you exhibit the upper echelon of femininity. It's you're not a role model that we all aspire to achieve or aspire to be like. You're not the image of a role model that shows us the characteristics of what being a woman should look like. A girl's girl is just no accountability. Do whatever you want, whenever you want. I'm going to support you because you have the freedom of choice. But again, freedom of choice does not mean freedom from consequences. So when you're making the choice, you're not getting warned about the consequences of your choice because that's not what being a girl's girl is about. Being a girl's girl is about do whatever you please, whatever you desire, whatever impulse or whim comes to you, or whatever impulse comes to you on a whim, you got it. Do you? And that's kind of funny, which is women's worst enemies are women, but they parade around as if men are their opposition. Women will give you all the wrong advice, send you up the river, let you make mistakes that they know are mistakes, or they know will like sully your reputation, or they will diminish your quality of life, and they'll still let you make them because they're a girl's girl. I don't care if you accomplish your goals. I'm not here to push you towards your goals. I'm here to just celebrate and applaud whatever decision you make online. So if you looking to become a wife, but you have an OnlyFans and you dress half naked and you twerk anytime the camera is on you, I'm going to clap. I'm going to slap your ass. I'm going to promote your OnlyFans as far as I can. And I'm going to be a girl's girl and celebrate everything that you do, even though in the long run, it could be or might be or definitely is making sure that you never accomplish your end goal. But yeah, girl's girl. No accountability. Just nurturing to a point that it becomes toxic femininity. Here's another big one, right? Like, I spoke on it just a little bit. SB, sugar baby. OnlyFans model. Anything along the lines of, is you, when you, are you going to spend some money? It's prostitution. A sugar baby. Sugar is sex or attention. You are expecting to be paid for your attention. Prostitution. Being paid for sex. Prostitution. OnlyFans model. Prostitution. But virtual prostitution. Spend some money. Buy my time. Prostitution. Grew up listening to Pimp C, man. Like, they broke it down to you what prostitution looked like, what being a hoe looked like, what being a trick looked like, what being a simp ass nigga looked like. All of this was broken down to us. And folks went, yeah, but it looked fun though. Back to their girls. Yeah, it's prostituting, but and then there's no logic that can be behind that because prostitution is prostitution. And the dating market will tell you that it's prostitution because once you start doing OnlyFans, once you are a sugar baby, or once you're openly marketing yourself as somebody who could be and needs to be paid for, you attract a certain kind of man, one that'll fuck you and then won't commit to you long term. Because how can I maintain my respect if you can be bought? If other people have paid for you, if you are if you are a shared experience, I don't respect you as human. My apologies. I'm not. It's no cap. I don't use euphemisms. Don't see you as human. I don't see you as a woman. I do not acknowledge your womanhood. I mean, this is not me. This is the mental aspect of being a man and being in a dating market. I don't acknowledge your womanhood because you cast that aside for the right price. And to break prostitution down, right? If I can quantify how much it costs to sleep with you or to engage in any sexual activity with you, you're a prostitute. If I can quantify how much it'll cost to expose your genitals to me in any medium, you're a prostitute. Don't believe me? Ask a man how much money he's ever spent on his wife and see if they can track it. Ask them how much it costs them to be married. Not a divorced man, because even then they don't know. They only know like what's at the finish line. Married men do not know how much it costs to be married because the price is priceless. And go back with the prostitution shit, right? I'm gonna learn you something. Prostitution is openly expressed as one of the oldest forms of transaction. Here's where it took off for real. In Africa, polygamy is a thing. Not for sexual gratification, but for the spreading of resources. If you had 0 kids and you could afford 0 kids, you stayed with 0 kids. If you had enough money to pay for as many kids as you wanted to have, you had as many kids as you wanted to have. As long as everybody had enough resources to be able to survive and provide for themselves. Whatever you can provide for, you are allowed to have. That's Africa. Africans. Europe. Similar to America, those who have money had their families over here and they kept their wealth over here. But they still had the same curiosities or urges or impulses as the men in Africa who had a lot of money. They had the means, so they would go have sex with women who they could pay to have sex with them. I have an abundance of resources. I'll share these resources with you if you allow me to express my urges or my impulses upon you. And from these interactions, children were born. The children didn't get moved into the home with the family. The women who were paid for their services, they were already paid for their services, so nothing was owed outside of that. Regardless of whether you became pregnant or not, I don't owe you anything. I paid you for what I needed to pay you for, what I came here for. Everything else, all the consequences, they fall on you. So, with that being the case, you now have women with children without resource or with scarcity of resources. You know what happens there? I prostitute some more to acquire more resources. And through prostitution, I kept reproducing. And now you have the lower class. You have poverty. The same people who were hoarding the resources over here at home were increasing the lower class and increasing the poverty levels. I'm going to have these kids, but I don't have to take care of them because I paid you what I needed from you. I didn't ask you for a child, so it's not my responsibility. But you're knowledgeable of that. You're not taking me to court. You're pregnant. You're a single mother. You're expected to deal with your single motherhood on your own. And the chances of you getting married were slim to none unless you married a lower class man or value man. And he takes care of the rich man's bastard child. But once a price tag is attached to you, the chances of you gathering a family for yourself or feeling validated as a wife and as a pillar of a stable family structure, high probability is not going to happen. So if you wanted to, or if you strive to be a pillar of a proper family structure, the men who are expected to be the other pillar of this family structure can't see you as somebody that they can purchase. If they see there's a price tag attached to you, why would I want that? You're for sale. And we still got that old school mindset of, if I can grow this shit at home, why would I go to the store and go buy it on sale when other people's hands have touched it? Same mindset. If I can find one and bring it home and it just be for me, with me being the only one touching it, why would I want one that other men's penises have been in? But, yeah, prostitution. Another big one. This one is huge. Fly me out. Y'all been paying attention to the Diddy trial. So you all know, you fly somebody out, you can be arrested for sex trafficking. So fly me out, sex traffic me. We don't need to have sex. Who's paying for you to come see them without having sex? Unless you're family, it makes no sense for me to pay for you to come to me unless you're coming for me. Otherwise, why can't you pay for your own flight to see me? Again, flying me out, spend some money, prostitution. And if you can be arrested for sex trafficking, you can also be charged with the prostitution. And if you haven't noticed, right, like, another conversation I'm going to get into about dating is the market is so swayed and things are so negative because it's based around what women want. And the honest truth is women don't know what the fuck they want. They don't. Honest observation, and it's a shared observation between women who have already established themselves as pillars of a family structure, men who have found their women to be pillars of their family structure, single men, and women who go to therapy. So healed individuals and knowledgeable individuals understand women don't know what they want. And beyond that, the women who don't know what they want typically have a common trait where they like to see just how many rules and boundaries you're willing to break to validate them. So fly me out is, yeah, it's probably is sex trafficking, but do you value me enough to take that risk? Yeah, all of this is prostitution, but do you think I'm attractive enough for you to take that risk? And intentional or not, a lot of the game being played is how many of your morals, your guidelines, your rules for yourself, how much of your discipline are you willing to throw by the wayside on my behalf? Remember the story of Adam and Eve, right? If you love me, are you willing to break rules for me? That shit was day 1 of Earth, bruh. Day 7 of Earth. Day 8 of Earth. From the first 2 weeks of Earth to today, women still like that. Forsake God on my behalf. Become a new person for my ego. Yikes. And the last word, nigga. Nigga is a euphemism, but it's like 30 different euphemisms depending on the context. Could mean ignorant individual, could mean my beloved friend. It could mean man, like it could be a bunch of things, but the confusion of the word nigga is representative of the confusion of euphemisms. You're not saying what you mean, so you don't even know what you mean. You think you know what you're trying to say, but you haven't said it, so you won't say it. So if somebody doesn't get what you're saying, it's because you didn't say what you meant to begin with. Get off them euphemisms, man. Like, say what you mean, bro. And you can start taking them first steps to the good old road of authenticity. See y'all Monday.